My real name is Adelaide, but they call me Sis. Peggy Geier was my mom.
Peggy Geier was a trailblazer, and she really started LADD knowing that when parents pass, that the parents know that their children are capable and able to be on their own.
My grandmother, Peggy Geier, was an amazing woman. When I hear stories about her, everyone says how I think people just naturally gravitated to her, and she was able to rally her friends really to create this future for her daughter that at the time wasn't really a reality or a possibility. And she thought beyond her time here. And it's really incredible to see what her vision is and how it's come to life. I truly think it'd be beyond anything she would have dreamed of.
One of the things that's great about being involved at LADD and involved in supporting LADD is being part of a second generation. When I first learned of LADD as a child, as a teenager, my mom was a big part of a generation of community leaders who supported LADD and helped to foster its growth. And now all I have to do is look around our boardroom and I see that second generation, some of the sons and daughters of that first generation who are now supporting and leading LADD. And that's a lot of fun to be part of that second generation. But I think it's also really validating and affirming for LADD because it shows that this is an organization with multi-generational ties, with multi-generational leadership, because it continues to execute its mission so very well. And so it's a privilege to be a part of it for a second generation in the Zimmerman family for sure.
I think all my children realize that both my husband and I have always been very, very involved in the community in various ways. And they just grew up knowing that that's what you did. Even though you had a full family life, you still found time to work for organizations that you thought were important. So now that they're actually at the same stage of their lives as I was when I was involved in LADD, it's just very gratifying to see that they're also making time in their busy lives to be involved with organizations whose mission is really important to us and to society as a whole. I really believe that LADD's mission of fully integrating those adults with developmental disabilities into a full community life is just very, very important.
I got involved through LADD through my mother-in-law, Emmy Hobson, and her good friend, Valley Geier, who thought that I would have interest in working with LADD, which was 100% true. I grew up with my Uncle Ken, who has Down syndrome in our family, and so I can appreciate and attest to firsthand the impact that proper resources and support can have.
My son-in-law Andrew and the Zimmermans have been involved for years and such strong supporters, and there's just no doubt that it will continue. I mean, and how they've impacted the organization since they have become involved, it's fantastic.
I'm really proud of my son Will. As I've been doing this for many, many years, it's so wonderful to have someone that you can pass the torch to and that has the same passion and enthusiasm to go forward to create a new world for people with developmental and intellectual disabilities.
Looking at the role models that our parents' generation are for us to carry on the mission and really, we're talking about the Margaret B. Geier Society here to just carry on and fulfill Peggy Geier's legacy. I think that's a neat thing to see this generation take that.
So Valley Geier is my mom and has been involved with LADD ever since I can remember. And I think my mom felt the same passion that my grandmother felt. My grandmother in some ways passed the torch to my mom to really continue to carry on her mission to bringing a better life for those with developmental disabilities. And I think LADD, along with my mom, has really pushed that initial vision to really be, not only should they live independently, but they should be a part of the community.
Well, my mother, Allison Zimmerman, really she's been a role model for me in general, and just how she gets involved in the community and her giving back to the community. And so when I moved back to Cincinnati a few years ago and was asked to get involved with LADD, it was really an easy decision, knowing what I knew about what she believed in the mission, and again, being a role model for me.
Emmy Hobson might have been my first co-chair. Tony and Emmy were my first co-chairs for the first 2 years of the Margaret Geier Society. Katie Lawrence and Bobby were also involved with the third and fourth years. Debbie Oliver and Rich, they were involved. Rich was on our board for a few years. Allison and Jim Zimmerman. So it's nice to have the continuity of the people that have been a part of LADD for a long time.
LADD is at a critical point and a pivotal point for an extreme amount of growth, but more importantly, our reach to create something and give back to not only the disability community, but frankly, all people is huge with the Forever Homes and the Smart Living. And that growth, and that it all started out with the founders with a vision. And here we are with the Margaret B. Geier Society, and our support, the support we have of all of the people who donate and fundraise, and it really helps fund and fuel not only the things we do here every day, but the vision we have of the future.
LADD's focus on problems before they become, a bigger problem, I think is part of, our mission and our goals to kind of effectively spread the word of what the needs are and why, funding is important, and, why all the programs that we're looking to innovate on are solving, trying to solve real problems before they, become too big of an issue.
To me, one of the most exciting things, being fairly new to LADD, is the Smart Living project, and the ability to use technology that frankly, as best I can tell, no one else in the country had come up with, and LADD has helped develop it on its own to allow adults to live more independently. It also fulfills a huge need in terms of staffing, where it's so difficult to fill these staffing positions, and now you've got the ability for folks to live independent lives and still get the services they need without full-time staff. So I think that's, in terms of the future of LADD and what we should be doing, that to me is one of the most important ways and best ways that we can really expand the mission.
Smart Living to me the potential here is immense.
The dollars raised from the Margaret B. Geier Society has helped us continue our community programs like Community Connections and following up with our clients that are living out in our apartment buildings. And I think that has meant a lot for everybody to stay connected. The very beginnings of the film festival also came from dollars that were raised by the Margaret B. Geier Society, and that's taken off in a big way, and has, I think, involved a lot more people and made more people in the community aware of LADD and all that LADD has to offer.
Funder support is absolutely critical. Without their support, there'd be no impact within the community. And things are changing, and we need to change with them. And as the people that we serve grow older, we need to come up with new ways to serve them and to better serve them with their changing needs. And we can't do that without the support of people from the Geier Society.
Dealing with $1 million in hand, and it isn't well used. To me, it is important stuff, and I want to make it different. And I think I didn't make a difference.
10 years ago, Susan Brown Knight was our development director, and she had this fabulous idea to create the Margaret Geier Society. I believe Susan's reason to start the Margaret Geier Society was to pull heartstrings and pull it back to our founder. And it was a way to honor Peggy Geier. It was a way to recognize all the work that she did to create LADD.
I see it's growing and there's nice people. She'd be so proud of everybody. She would be real happy about me too.
Peggy Geier would be extremely proud of Sis. And I've seen an incredible growth of Sis from when my mother-in-law passed, and then 20 years later when my father-in-law passed, and the growth that I see in her currently. She is an amazing individual.
And also I want to tell you about Mom. She's to me like an angel. She is so awesome. I just love her. And I miss her like crazy.
She would be absolutely blown away. I think all she really wanted was a better life for Sis, and to see how many people it's impacted, and also how it's changed the way people view a disability, the people that have it, and also what a disability means, I think has completely kind of been flipped on its head. And I think she would just be in awe and inspired, and I like to think that she's looking down on LADD right now and just so proud, and just it brings, I think, our family so much joy that LADD continues to make her proud, because I think it's beyond her wildest dreams.